Hill are in the trenches segment for this, because when I mentioned this in the opening segment, when you have a 14-point lead, all you want to do is go out there and fly around and make plays. And there are two things that happen. Because they are not an attacking style defense, they are always receiving blocks. You cannot play the game up front at the line of scrimmage and receive unless you are 350 pounds and you can hold two blockers and two gap. We don't have that skill set up front. Yes, we have some big guys, but they can't take on two blockers and allow the linebackers to make plays at the line of scrimmage. And if that's not the case, and I've said this before, you've got to create penetration. You have to attack. You have to be the aggressor. And right now, defensively, we're not the aggressor. Offensively, at times, up front, we can be aggressive, but I don't think we play with good pad level. We're not playing low enough to be able to drive off the ball. But defensively, if you are sitting there and catching every block, then what happened yesterday, when you look and you say, here's on first down, here's 5 yards. On second down, here's 3 yards. Now all of a sudden, it's 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1 against a quarterback like Drew Brees. And the whole issue was he can't make that explosive play downfield. He can't hit the deep ball. He didn't have to. We never forced him to have to make that throw.
Correct. I mean, they sacked him on twice. And there was one play where Core had him, and again, he escaped, which would have been a huge play. Good morning. So happy I played golf yesterday instead of watching the Lions game. That's from Aaron in Lake Orion. I played Saturday. Before you get started, Stafford was the only reason the Lions were in that game at all, as usual. Oh, please. Yeah. Seriously. Yes.
The game's tied in the interception. How about missing Marvin Hall when it mattered? You couldn't tell which receiver he was actually throwing to on that play. I don't think he knows.
He threw it up to Marvin. He didn't care which one was.
Stop making excuses, guy. And I'll tell you what, right now, I had a little takeaway from the beginning of the game. I thought he was off from the beginning. The Amendola throw was not good.
He was behind him a little bit.
Yeah, to me, he did not look good, but he got away with it because, first off, the second score was such a short field.
Right.
But, enough of this.
His first 2 passes were dropped. I'll give him that. But still, he got Jesse James saved his ass on another one. That would have been an interception, which was on the drive that he actually,
And the Hawkinson last touchdown, that throw jeopardized that being caught potentially.
Yes.
I mean, he went up and got it, but it was not a well-thrown ball.
No. Let's not forget that basically 2 touchdowns were handed to us, the interception and the bogus pass interference call. Other than that, we'd have lost by way more. I don't think the interference was bogus, but yeah, look, give the defense credit for making a play. How can you expect anything else but disappointment on a Monday? Matter of fact, that's what you should call every Monday show, Disappointment Monday. We haven't even gotten to college time yet. Time to move on from Stafford. He's not helping us move forward. Cut the defense, fire the coach. Well, yeah. At the end of this, he cut the defense. Well, they really don't have a defense. By the way, did you see Dallas yesterday? Average first down runs by Cleveland, 10 yards. 10 yards on first down runs.
And Chubb went out early.
Yeah. Stafford is trash. Why do we keep letting him off the hook? Hold him accountable. I don't think he's trash, and we are holding him accountable. He didn't play very well yesterday. He didn't. We can talk about Quinn and his draft picks, but when a player goes to a winning organization, they tend to work harder. No one is held accountable in the Lions. Collect a paycheck and lose every weekend. No fire under these guys. No one cares about winning. Well, I think people care about winning.
I think they do, but this, I want to bring up something that you mentioned when you were talking about Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat. His best teammates in terms of production and, the reason that they're in the finals, all right, they're out. He put together a performance yesterday. He put that franchise, that team on his shoulders and beat the Lakers when nobody thought it could be done.
Correct.
Now, I don't necessarily know that he can do that 3 more times.
No.
But you have seen it. He may buy enough time for some of his teammates to come back, and then they can see what happens. But this is the thing that I have been talking about for years, in that Matt Stafford, yes, he is as an individual, you won't find a better guy. He's got good numbers. They put up a stat in terms of, passing yards per game, and he is right there with Drew Brees. He's ahead of Peyton Manning. to it, he cannot put the team on his back. He cannot get DeAndre Swift to catch the ball in week 1. He can't get his teammates to play at the next level where you see championship quarterbacks or championship athletes do.
Well, hold on. I agree with you, but in fairness, you mentioned the DeAndre Swift play. I mean, come on, that was a perfectly thrown ball.
It was.
It's not Stafford's fault that the kid dropped the ball.
No. It's not his fault that he dropped the ball. It's his fault that that preparation in the summer. Now, I know that this year's a little bit different. They didn't have that. And throughout training camp, you make it so important for these guys, your teammates, to come through because of what you do, that they are so afraid of letting you down. That they scratch and claw for everything. And that's just an example. And maybe it's not the greatest example, but it is an example of a guy that should have made a play. And on other teams, you see that play being made when it matters most.
Right. I understand that. But, I mean, look, in this offseason, we heard he arranged for, players to come to Atlanta or wherever, and he worked out with Cephas and a lot of these guys in the offseason. So it's not his work ethic.
I truly question whether he has a killer instinct. And I think that's what John's kind of referencing.
I know.
Jimmy Butler is an assassin, okay?
Correct.
He may not be the top-notch assassin in the NBA, but the reason the Miami Heat are in the NBA Finals is because Jimmy Butler is more of a superstar than I think we think he is or thought he was going into this. That he's just below these other guys, and he's kind of knocking on the door. Let me in the crowd. Can I get in? Can I get in? Matthew Stafford's never gotten into that door. Matthew Stafford, it's like I always bring up, we look at these other quarterbacks and the way we look at them. He got a little bit of luck, but Joe Flacco somehow willed his way that one season when it was all about Ray Lewis and the defense and stuff first. But Joe Flacco made plays in that playoff. And
plays you have to make.
Yeah, and Matthew Stafford's never done it. And maybe he made it. He got cheated in the first game this year, to be honest with you, because he didn't answer the bell.
Right.
And that sucks. But look, we can talk all this stuff about Stafford all we want, but you have a mastermind defensive coach, you think, and you can't stop
historically bad defense.
You cannot stop the run. They come into your house and physically manhandle you.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the biggest thing here. And it's not sexy to talk about. It's always the quarterback.
Right.
But I know everybody thinks their pass D sucks, and it does. But their run defense is it's atrocious.
It was horrible last year. They didn't do anything to improve it.
The only time it's been good is when Snacks was good for 8 games.
Right, exactly. And I'm not absolving Snacks, okay, for last year. But what was his statement when he left? Nothing. He liked Patricia. Nothing to do with that. The scheme wasn't fit for him, and maybe that's what John is referring to. Maybe Snacks is a guy who doesn't just take up space. Maybe he does attack, and maybe that's what he has the biggest problem with Patricia for.
And the other thing, the best year they had under Patricia, they had Haloti Ngata there. Remember?
His first year.
Yeah.
It's when you are like for the New England Patriots, right? They got Alan Branch on the inside, and I forget the name. Washington. They had him, Ted Washington. They had him for a little while, eating up the inside. And Ted, big old Ted could not only take on 2 blockers, he'd take 3 or 4 at a time. But that's a very unique individual. And unless you have that unique individual at the nose and 2 other guys at what are your defensive ends at playing head up on your tackles, to be able to hold the ground when you are, faced with it taking double teams all the time, it's a unique skill set. Not everybody is built for that. And you could have a great player. I think Deshaun Hand, I don't think he's a great player. I think he's a good player. But he is not the type of player that
he's not a huge nose tackle.
Right, but he's not. Yeah, so they're trying to play this defense where they absorb blockers up front, and they just don't have the personnel for it.
They should have got the guy in the offseason that went to Cincinnati, who used to be in Baltimore. Was it Reader?
Was it Jalen Reagor?
Yeah, absolutely.
They also had New England Vince Wilfork.
Yes. He took up 3 guys. 248-539-9797.
We're coming off another huge weekend of football. How about Arkansas beat Mississippi State after Mississippi State beat LSU last week? Maybe you got in on that dog action. In the NFL, just the high-scoring action. I don't know if Vegas can set the over-unders any higher. With all this crazy action, you need to get down to the BetMGM Sports Lounge inside MGM Grand Detroit. They're ready to take your real money wagers on all the action. Stop by anytime and place your bets at the live betting window, or you can go to one of the easy-to-use self-service kiosks. BetMGM Sports Lounge welcomes fans back to the excitement of a full betting menu 7 days a week. We got 2 Monday Night Football games tonight. Whether you live in Berry Sports or just looking to place a wager on your favorite team, the BetMGM Sports Lounge at MGM Grand Detroit is ready to take your single game bets along with parlays, props, future bets, and more. There's no better place in Michigan to celebrate the return of major sports. Stop by the betting window or the self-service kiosk anytime to get a piece of the action. Get ready to believe in your game again at the BetMGM Sports Lounge inside MGM Grand Detroit. Must be 21 or older.
97.1 The Ticket. Traffic.
From the WWJE 950 Traffic Center, this report brought to you by 7-Eleven. Crews have just cleared up an accident in Dearborn 94 westbound at Michigan Avenue that left only one lane open. Again, that's just been cleared, but backups continue right around Livernois. You need more coffee? Get 79-cent hot coffee from 7-Eleven from 12 to 7 p.m. with 7 rewards. They might know you better than you know yourself. 7-Eleven, always open. Offer good through 1/5/21, 79 cents plus tax where applicable at select U.S. 7-Eleven stores. See 7-Eleven app for full terms. I'm Michelle Pena with traffic.
97.1 The Ticket would like to remind you that when you text the ticket, standard text messaging rates apply.
This is Boomer Esiason with the Radio.com Sports Minute. Sunday's biggest losers include Mike McCarthy and the Cowboys. They got run on and run around by the Browns and have now yielded an average of 40 points over the past 3 games. They still teach tackling in Dallas, by the way. Jason Garrett is looking pretty good now, isn't he? Detroit's Matt Patricia is also no stranger to losing in style. His Lions coughed up their 3rd double-digit lead of the season as New Orleans dropped 35 straight points on them. Houston's Bill O'Brien knows nothing but losing through 4 games. Yesterday, his Texans came up short in a battle of winless teams with the Vikings. Giants rookie head coach Joe Judge is still looking for his first victory, and not coincidentally, he's also seeking Daniel Jones' first turnover-free game. Finally, in Arizona, the bloom is quickly coming off the rose of Kyler Murray. I'm Boomer Esiason.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? So you've got an oil change coming up? We're here to help. Right now, you can get 5 quarts of Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil and an STP extended life oil filter for just $32.99. Plus a $10 bonus reward if you're an AutoZone Rewards member. Not a member? Don't worry. You can sign up fast right here in store or on AutoZone.com. Getting the job done just got easier. Terms at AutoZone.com/rewards. Restrictions apply.
For the ones working tirelessly to keep their coworkers safe. For the ones rising to new challenges. For the ones rebuilding stronger than before. Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry. Free access to product specialists, safety recovery guides, and 24/7 support. It's part of our commitment to help you adapt and recover in these challenging times. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Amazon is now hiring near you. We're looking for team members who know that delivering important packages is important work. Ready to work hard to make someone's every day? Ready for benefits and flexible shifts? Immediate hourly roles are available at Amazon.com/apply. That's Amazon.com/apply. Amazon is an equal opportunity employer.
A job's about a lot more than a paycheck. It's about your dignity. Under my plan, 50% of emergency small business relief will be reserved for the smallest businesses to recover from the economic mess we're in and to rebuild the economic future our country deserves. We can't just build back to what it was before. We have to build back better. If we truly want to reward the work in this country, we have to ease the financial burdens of care that families are carrying. To start, every 3- and 4-year-old child gets access to free high-quality preschool, and low- and middle-income families won't spend more than 7% of their income on child care for children under the age of 5. Advancing racial equity across the American economy. Building wealth for families of color. Building a future worthy of their courage and their ambition. Just imagine
This is Dan Weingertz, and you can help us